Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about the most damaging Gunstrike build in Space Marine 2 patch 11.2 for the Assault class, and really any class. Now, the Fencing Power Axe is a great weapon for Gunstrike builds, mainly because Fencing parry windows are just good for Gunstrike builds in general, but the main reason the Power Axe is so damn powerful for this is that we have the perk here, Power Strike. Gunstrike from Power Stance, it deals 20% more damage. This perk buffs up your Gunstrike damage substantially. This on top of proven efficiency here for even more Gunstrike damage is incredible, and really Armor Reinforcement just pulls this whole build together to be not only incredibly damaging, but also incredibly safe. Now, for the rest of the perk tree on this weapon, I do go down the bottom tree first for Perpetual Strength into the perk Coup de Grace. The reason I skip over perks like Perpetual Speed is that a 5% speed increase here really does not matter that much, and this damage buff is just a little bit better. And also Coup de Grace is pretty nice for like that bonus light combo damage. Now, next perk here is Perpetual Strength, and Perpetual Strength for a 10% melee damage increase. Into the next perk here, Patient Stance. While in Power Stance, you will not lose contested health. This perk pretty much guarantees you will get the armor back off of your gun strikes for armor reinforcement, which makes you incredibly tanky, especially versus Tyranids that give you gun strikes all the time, so great synergy there. Now, the next perk is, of course, Power Strike. Gunstrike from Power Stance deals 20% more damage. This is just a free Gunstrike damage buff, which is incredibly powerful in this game. But if you time it properly, you can actually Power Wave off of this, and not just do a normal Power Stance. But either way, you do have to time this to make sure that you have the actual Gunstrike damage bonus active, because you do have to wait like half a second after your initial parry to trigger this. Just keep that in mind. Next perk here is Power Wave. Power Backstep Wave, it damages more enemies. Moving down here into the perk Tactical Retreat. Power Backstep deals 25% more damage. Like I said before, you can trigger this on top of Power Strike for the double bonus damage here, which is pretty damn nice to have. Though I will say, if you want to skip over this because you're just going to be using Gun Strikes primarily, and you just don't know how to like do that timing properly, you could pick up like the Whirlwind perk over here, Slash Momentum, or even the perk here, Endless Slash, but I think this one kind of sucks, but it's up to you. Next perk here is Minora Slayer. Melee damage against Minora Slayer enemies increases by 20%. Into the final perk, Restoration. Killing 7 enemies in a rapid session restores 1 armor segment. The cooldown is 20 seconds. Now, you can actually trigger this perk off of a ground pound, which is pretty damn cool, and overall, having an armor restore tied to your weapon here is pretty damn useful, because most melee weapons have like a really niche armor restore, stuff like Patience Rewarded, or just the skilled restoration here. It says when your health is below 30%, a power whirl hit restores 1 armor segment. The cooldown is 10 seconds. This one is just like, okay, kill 7 guys and get your armor back on a 20-second cooldown. That is super easy to pull off, and like by far the most convenient for any melee weapon, which is why I prefer this one. I pretty much always grab this on a fencing version because of that. That's pretty much all there is for the melee weapon here. Now, for the secondary weapon here, we once again took the Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. This weapon has the highest Gunstrike damage in the entire game, and we are a Gunstrike build after all. But also, the Heroic perk effect here is called No Help is Coming. Shooting an enemy with the least from status effect stops from calling for reinforcements, and headshots will kill in 1 shot. This perk effect is really damn powerful in this game. Being able to one-shot a reinforcement calling enemy is super convenient, and also, the way that Space Marine 2 works on operations on the absolute difficulty or hard stratagems is that any enemy calling for reinforcements while stopped will be turned into an enraged enemy instantaneously, which gives them a full heal on top of just being goddamn annoying to kill afterwards. To be able to one-shot them is really damn nice, on top of the fact that it saves you ammo and stops the reinforcement call, which is why this thing has a low magazine capacity and ammo reserve option. Now, for the actual perk tree on this, I do take the perk here, Divine Might, first. Moving here to the perk Perpetual Penetration, increased capacity, pretty much all the way down the bottom row, because I really do think the bottom row here is just way better than the top row, thanks to perks here like Death Strike. After killing a Majorus level or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk can also be triggered off a finisher, not just a melee kill, but either of those is very easy to pull off on the Assault class, and a 25% damage buff for 10 seconds is pretty damn powerful. Next perk here is Great Might, moving here to the perk Strong Start, and then we finish off here with Able Damage before we go into the top row. Now, Able Damage says after using class ability, damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. This perk is super damn strong on Assault, because Assault is using the jump pack all the damn time in this game on pretty much any build setup, Wings of Flame or otherwise, or Zealous Blood we'll be taking here. But also, this 20% buff has a great synergy with Ample Ammunition, because this one reads, any use of the jump pack will reload the equipped ranged weapon, increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Now, a 50% damage buff on top of the 20% damage buff, or a 70% damage buff for 10 seconds on top of Death Strike potentially immediately after for like a further 25% while these are active, is super damn useful and great synergy there, which is why I like picking this one up. And the final perks I grab here are Home Precision, Gunstrike Reload for even more Gunstrike benefits, and of course, Tactical precision. Headshots will deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. Headshot damage is pretty much all that matters on any bolt weapon in Space Marine 2, and this one is no different, so pretty much always grab this because 20% damage buff on that is quite substantial and pretty damn good. And that's pretty much all there is for the secondary option on this build. Now for the perk tree, we do take armor reinforcement first. Once again, non-finisher gun strikes restore an armor segment. This perk is incredible on pretty much any assault build, but especially a gunstrike build because it's pretty much all upside. Overcharge damage buff of 25% on held and charged melee attacks does not matter too much on a fencing weapon because our base damage is not that high, and this perk just makes you incredibly tanky, so a great option, especially versus Tyranids, which we'll be fighting here. Next perk here is Consecutive Execution, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession, recharged by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, a 90-second cooldown on Melt-A-Bombs, frags, shock grenades, and cracks is incredible in this game. Melt-A-Bombs will solve problems all on their own versus pretty much any Tyranid in the game, especially Biovores if you actually get close to them, so great option here. And during a boss fight, this can definitely save your life, though to be honest, every single perk in this column is amazing, so if you want to take something else, you definitely can. Next perk here is Active Attrition. Enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. This perk will buff up your gunstrike damage as long as you actually get that overhead first in those 5 seconds, so a really great synergy there. That can take you up to like 75% damage bonus on your gunstrike with the proper setup, so pretty much a no-brainer to pick this one up on this build. Next perk here is, of course, Proven Efficiency. All team members deal 30% more gunstrike damage. This is the best perk for most builds on the assault tier anyways, because gunstriking is just that strong in this game, and this will give you the most benefit for like most setups across heavy, vanguard, sniper, and all of that, even though strategic strikes is pretty damn strong too. Next perk here is Smiting Angel. Ground pound's damage increases by 25%. Moving here into the perk Zealous Blow. A ground pound kill restores jump packs charge by 10%. This perk is just a value generation machine. You will get so many free ground pounds off of this. It is kind of insane. Zealous Blow really is just that good. This will pretty much allow you to go into any Minotaur's horde over and over, deal free damage to Majoris, Extremis, and even bosses at times, and it's by far the best perk for assault period in my opinion. Next perk here is Pride and Duty. After a finisher, ground pound deals 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk combined with this perk here, Smiting Angel, will just make it way easier to trigger Zealous Blow triggers, so you'll get that jump pack charge back really easily because of that 50% damage bonus here. And the final perk is, of course, Ample Ammunition. Any use of the jump pack will reload the equipped ranged weapon, increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Now, a 50% range damage buff is incredible in this game. A 10-second uptime is a super long uptime, and weapon perks like the, secondary weapons like the Inferno Pistol have a 5 business day reload speed all on their own. If you ever take a weapon like this, having that instantaneous reload is super nice to have, though I'll say on a plasma pistol it's totally useless. But either way, 50% damage bonus here, really good, and you could take commitment here if you want jump pack dashes, but usually I would just take this with like the Wings of Flame build because it's way better there. But that's pretty much all there is for the main perk tree. As for the prestige perks, I do take Unyielding O first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This perk is incredible. A 3-second invulnerability may not sound like a lot, but this actually makes you invulnerable the entirety of your jump pack trajectory, on top of the fact that you were able to pretty much land face first into a Melt-A-Bomb and stuff like that, and being able to face tank a Melt-A-Bomb and take no damage when it would usually kill you is incredible and opens up a lot of gameplay opportunities, so amazing perk, pretty much always pick this up. Next perk here is Adrenaline Boost. A perfect time parry, block, or dodge will make it so you don't lose control from heavy hits and cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. This perk is also incredible. No knockback in Space Marine 2 will save your life. There are moments in Space Marine 2 where you will simply get stun locked and instantaneously die, and this will prevent that to some degree. Though some people do misread this perk. They think this basically says that like no matter what you get hit by, you will not be knocked over. That's not the way it actually functions. Basically, it makes it so any attack that would knock you over will only stagger you, and any attack that would stagger you will do nothing instead. So it's still really good, just like the description's a little confusing. Next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15% because health increases in Space Marine 2 are incredible. And the final perk is Practice Aim. Range damage increases by 15%. This is just a nice little range damage buff. You can combine this perk here with the perk over here, Auxiliary Arsenal, for a 35% secondary weapon damage buff. Your secondary will hit like a truck, though I would usually save this one for having a ammo reserve option on the heavy bolt pistol, because this one's ammo just not that good to like build directly into it, in my opinion. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. This is the highest Gunstrike damage you can get in the entire game. Power Axe is one of my favorite weapons in Space Marine 2 currently for that reason, and hopefully this build guide helped you. I think this one is pretty damn fun to use and really nice versus bosses like the Trigon, because the Trigon is just really annoying to fight without Gunstrikes, in my opinion. And overall, that's all I have to say in this one, and hopefully you like content like this, and if you do, subscribe for more, and as always, take it easy. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, first regards in here, and I'll be talking about a Heroic Power Fist build for the Assault class in patch 11.2 of Space Marine 2. Now, the Heroic Power Fist might be one of the easiest builds in the entire game to use for new players. You get a ton of Gunstrikes off the perk here, Follow-Up Shot. Performing a finisher marks a nearby Majora's level or higher enemy for a Gunstrike. Light attack damage increases by 200%, but charge attack damage decreases by 50%. Now, especially versus Tyranids, this weapon will just feed you Gunstrikes over and over and over. Really easy, just keep up your armor constantly with things like armor reinforcement here, and also your Gunstrike damage on assault is very high with stuff like proven efficiency, so really easy to play with and pretty damn effective. Now for the perk tree here, I do start off in the bottom row, Perpetual Strength, moving here into the perk Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation times reduced by 30%. Now even though we have a 50% damage reduction to our heavy attacks on this weapon, it really doesn't matter at all because charge attacks from this weapon are still very powerful, and usually you just want to be able to use them for stagger and stuff like that, so having a faster preparation time on them is still really beneficial and far better than the perk up here, Swift Recovery. The next perk here is Perpetual Strength, and moving up here into the perk Perpetual Strength once again for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I pick up the perk here, Focus Intention. When your health is below 30%, you will take 50% less health damage when preparing heavy attacks. This perk is really nice. It is one of the only proper damage reduction perks on like any weapon in this game. It's actually pretty substantial, so definitely pick this one up. And the next perk here is Tide of Battle. Power wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8 meters. Now this actually increases your power wave distance from 10 to 20 meters, which basically makes your charge attacks like a ranged attack in this game, so a really good perk. You pretty much always grab this one. Then I pick up the perk here, Following Blow, moving here into the perk combo. Then I grab Majora's Slayer, which is by far the most important perk here. And the final perk I grab is Cannon Punch, having a 50% damage increase with heavy armament, because I do like to play around with the perk here, Active Attrition, which is enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing. Take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. This will also affect your Gunstrikes on the enemy that you actually trigger this on, and Cannon Punch is the lunging attack for the Power Fist anyway, so pretty nice synergy there. Though if you want to skip this perk and take the perk over here, Strength of Will, instead, you can definitely do that, but that's pretty much all there is for the Death's Grasp Power Fist here. Now, as far as the secondary option goes, I do take the Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. This has the highest Gunstrike damage in the entire game, and we are building for Gunstrikes in the first place, so kind of a no-brainer. And for the perk tree, we do have the perk here, No Help is Coming. Shooting an enemy with the Elite Scream stats effect stops from calling for reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. Now, unfortunately, in patch 11.2, this perk is actually bugged. Body shots will do nothing to stop reinforcement calls, but headshot kills will still kill in one shot, so still pretty good for that. And for the perk tree here, I just go all the way down the bottom row because these are where all the good damage perks are for the most part. Things like Death Strike and the perks here like Great Might for extra terminus damage. And then if you were playing something like the Bulwark, I would go up the top row for stuff like Discipline, because able damage after using a class ability damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. This perk is definitely better on classes like Vanguard, Assault, and Heavy, just because they use their class ability way more like a Bulwark or a Tactical does, but you know, that is up to you still. That's pretty much the way I prefer to build mine. And the final perk I grab here is Tactical Precision. Headshots deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%, because headshot damage is just way more important than body shot damage, so definitely pick this one up. That's pretty much all there is for the perk tree on the secondary. Now, for the actual perk tree, I do start off here with the perk Armor Reinforcement. Non-finisher Gunstrikes will restore 1 armor segment. This perk is incredible. The amount of HP that this will actually save you is ridiculous. This is one of like the safest perks in the entire game, especially versus Tyranids, because any amount of armor remaining in Space Marine 2 will take down all incoming melee damage to 0, regardless of where it comes from, even from bosses and stuff like that. So really powerful perk. It makes it really safe to fight any Tyranid horde, and that's pretty much why we always pick it up for like a Gunstrike build. Next perk here is Consecutive Execution. Killing 7 enemies in rapid succession will restore equipment charge by 1. Cooldown is 90 seconds. And now having 90-second crack grenades, shock grenades, frags, and melt-a-bombs will save your life in this game. A melt-a-bomb can pretty much solve an encounter all on its own, so really good option here, though I will say every single perk in this column, like Defense Mechanism and Auxiliary Arsenal, they're all top tier. It really is up to you. Next perk here is Active Attrition. Enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. This perk applies a debuff to the enemy that actually ups your gunstrike damage as well, so really good synergy there. And next perk here is Proven Efficiency. All of your team members deal 30% more gunstrike damage, pretty self-explanatory. We are building for gunstrike, so pretty much always pick this up. And the final perks I grab here in the gear tree are Smiting Angel, Zealous Blow, and Pride and Duty to get that 50% damage bonus on our ground pound here, and just get our CDR increase off of every single Minotaur's kill we land on to constantly cycle into our jump pack over and over and over. One of the best combos in the game. And the final perk for the signature tree here is Ample Ammunition. Any use of jump pack reloads the equipped ranged weapon, increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Having a 50% damage buff on your secondary here while you are landing from a ground pound can actually just pick you up a free Majora's Kill all the time. Really nice to have on both a plasma pistol and heavy bolt pistol, so I do like picking this one up quite a bit. But I will say, if you want to use your jump pack dash more, definitely pick this one up instead. Now for the prestige perks here, I do take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This will actually allow you to become invulnerable the entire trajectory of your ground pound if you charge it immediately, so really good for that. Next perk here is Adrenaline Boost, just gives you no knockback on a parry, block, or dodge for 10 seconds. This will save your life. No knockback in Space Marine 2 is incredible, so pretty much always grab these two. And the final perks I grab are Fortitude, health increase by 15%, and Practice Aim for a range damage increase of 15% as well. And that's pretty much all there is for the prestige perk list here, and hopefully this build guide helped you guys. The Heroic Power Fist is a pretty powerful weapon in this game. By far the best fencing Power Fist option in my opinion, way better than the Relic one here, because you just get a ton of extra bonus effects off of this one. Hey guys, first regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about a Power Sword Wings of Flame build for the Assault class in patch 11.2 of Space Marine 2. Now somebody asked me to make this build for them, and Wings of Flame is pretty damn fun, so I can definitely understand why. And overall, we're building for gunstrikes on this one. I will be taking a block Power Sword, though you could definitely take the fencing. I would set up the same way regardless. And for the perk tree here, I do pick up the perk Armored Strength first. If you have armor remaining, melee damage increases by 10%. Now this 10% buff is pretty nice, and having armor remaining on this build in particular is pretty damn easy because we do have the perk here, Armor Reinforcement, for non-finisher gunstrikes restoring 1 armor segment. It will be gunstriking all the time, especially with Wings of Flame, so really good synergy there. And the next perk here is of course Master of Offense. After you switch your sword combat style, you will deal 20% more melee damage for 5 seconds. The cooldown is 10 seconds. Now, you can actually switch your sword combat style on a power sword immediately out of a dodge into a lunging attack, and usually that'll be enough with this 5-second time limit to get that 20% buff on an actual Power Rake attack. And Power Rake is the heavy attack of the Power Sword, and by far the strongest attack for the Power Sword, so really great synergy there as well. Master of Offense is by far my preferred perk in this row here, between the bottom row, Perpetual Strength, and Master of Defense, and this one. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength. Move down here into the perk Perpetual Strength once again for a melee damage increase of 10%. And then I pick up the perk here, Tranquility. While on Power Roll stance, you will not lose control from heavy hits, and you cannot be knocked back. Now, this perk is actually pretty useful, but kind of redundant on an Assault class, mainly because pretty much all Assault builds in this game will take Adrenaline Boost as a prestige perk, because having no knockback on parry, block, and dodge for 10 seconds is just way better than conditional effects like Tranquility, but still pretty damn powerful, and occasionally this will help you out, in your matches. Next perk here is Melee Onslaught for a 10% melee damage buff. Moving here into the perk Hard Target. While performing a light combo, you will take 15% less range damage. This perk is actually pretty good, definitely better on the fencing version because you have a 9+ speed here, which does help with getting off your light combos, but block can still take advantage of it occasionally. And the next perk here, I would pretty much take all the time because this one is Cutting Edge. Power Rake deals 50% more melee damage. Power Rake is by far the strongest attack on the Power Sword overall, and so you'll be spamming pretty much every single game on any version like balance, fencing, block, or otherwise. And just take this perk because the perk up here, Reeling Blow, doesn't really do a lot at all, and also has a cooldown. This one's just like a straight up DPS increase on all builds, and such a substantial one that you pretty much always want to have it. Next perk here is Extremis Slayer, moving up here into Majora Slayer and Terminus Slayer for that damage buff versus all the major enemies. And the final perk is up to you between Power Restoration or the perk here Speed Restoration for doubling your CHP recovery on the respective stance. And that is really all there is for the power sword here. Now for the secondary weapon here, I did take the heroic heavy bolt pistol Retribution's Bequest. This one has the highest gunstrike damage in the entire game, and the per shot damage is pretty damn high too, with a firepower of 12 with a low magazine capacity and low ammo reserve option. But the low ammo capacity of this is not as bad as it sounds initially. Thanks to the heroic perk effect here, no help is coming. Shooting an enemy with the Elite Stream status effect stops it from calling for reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. Now, unfortunately, in patch 11.2, this perk is currently bugged. Body shots will do nothing to stop reinforcement calls, but headshots will still kill in one shot. So kind of a buff in some cases, where like you do get like a follow-up shot on an enemy to get that one headshot kill, though hopefully this perk will be fixed in like patch 12, because I really don't expect Saber to put out like a hotfix for this anytime soon. Now, for the actual perk tree on this, I do take Divine Might first, moving here into the perk Perpetual Penetration. Usually, the bottom row is the overall best to start with, because the perk here, Death Strike, after killing a Major's Level or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This is one of the best perks on this weapon, period, just for a straight-up damage increase. It will also trigger off a finisher, not just a melee kill, so keep that in mind. Next perk here is Great Might for a 10% damage buff against Terminus level enemies, moving here into the perk Strong Start, and of course, Able Damage. After using a class ability, damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. We are a Wings of Flame build, so having this on top of Aerial Grace and our Wings of Flame perk, you will be using your jump pack all the time, and by the time you use your jump pack, you'll have a 50% damage buff on your bolt pistol just from using that perfect dodge. So really great option there, and overall, the most synergy you're going to find on the Assault class of this weapon. Next perk here is Home Precision, moving up here into the perk Gunstrike Reload, and the final perk Tactical Precision. Headshots will deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. This perk is just a top tier option on like pretty much every bolt weapon in the game. Headshot damage matters way more than non-headshot damage, and a 20% buff is pretty substantial, so definitely grab this. That's pretty much all there is for the heroic heavy bolt pistol. Now for the perk tree, the first perk I take here is Armor Reinforcement. Non-finisher gunstrikes restore one armor segment. This perk is by far the safest option. Any amount of armor remaining in Space Marine 2 will reduce all incoming melee damage to 0, even from bosses, and really useful versus Tyranids, especially for that reason. Now the perk here, Overcharge. Damage from held and charged melee attacks increases by 25%. This will affect the power rake on your power sword, so better for damage here, but armor reinforcement just generates the most value overall in my opinion, at least for this build. Next perk here is Consecutive Execution. Killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores equipment charged by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Equipment in Space Marine 2 is incredible. Melta bombs are like a top tier horde clear and extremis killer in the entire game. They will one-shot any enemy outside of Terminus, outside of things like hard siege mode's highest waves, so really good to have this on a 90-second cooldown to get them back. Spamming Melta bombs in a match will just make your whole match go easier, and equipment just saves games. Now, Defense Mechanism is also an incredible perk, and so is Auxiliary Arsenal, so if you want to take these instead, you definitely could. I just took this one today for the reasons I stated before. Next perk here is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris or Extremis level enemies. I am using a block sword here, so this perk is pretty nice, so I will say if you take the fencing option, I would probably just take Active Attrition instead. This one is enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. This will affect your gun strikes, not just for melee hits, so a really good perk here, and I think the fencing one just benefits more from this overall. Next perk here is Proven Efficiency. All team members deal 30% more gun strike damage. We are a gun strike build after all, and this perk is incredible for your entire team because everybody's going to be gun striking in Space Marine 2. The next perk here is Precision Strike. Ground Pound deals 100% more damage, but its radius is reduced by 50%. Now, this perk is really nice to have with a block power sword because you will one-shot any Majoris in the game, or even Extremis at times, and also we don't really need the extra radius from things like Smiting Angel because we don't have to trigger Zealous Blow in this build since we're taking Wings of Flame. Now, Wings of Flame says a jump pack dash damages enemies along its trajectory and always works as a perfect dodge when dodging an attack. So basically, whenever you actually use your jump pack dash here, you will get a perfect dodge window along that entire line of you just dashing. So really easy to pick up a perfect dodge, though you still have to actually be within the window of the perfect dodge. And what I mean by that is an enemy's attack still has to actually phase through you to trigger the perfect dodge. Next perk here is Aerial Grace. After a perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash, you deal 30% more damage for 10 seconds. If you're taking Wings of Flame, you are usually taking this perk, though you could also pick up Pride and Duty for just ground pound damage, but it's up to you. Final perk here is Commitment. A perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash restores jump pack stability charge. This perk is pretty much mandatory on a jump pack dash build because without it, you will run out of jump pack dashes so damn quickly. It's like not even worth taking Wings of Flame. So definitely pick this one up. Now for the prestige perk list here, we take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This perk is incredible. If you time it properly, you can be invulnerable for the entire trajectory of your jump pack ground pound, which is super powerful in Space Marine 2 because that lets you go through things like Neurothrope waves, the beams of the Zoanthropes, on top of stuff like Missile Cannon Terminators just doing nothing to you. So great perk, pretty much always pick this up. Next perk here is Adrenaline Boost. After a perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you will not lose control from heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This perk is also mandatory in my opinion. Adrenaline Boost will give you no knockback on this class, and no knockback will save your life in Space Marine 2. And the final 2 perks I take here are Fortitude for a health increase of 15% and Practice Aim for a range damage increase of 15% as well. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. And now, Wings of Flame is pretty damn useful. Like I said before, if you want to take a fencing weapon instead, you definitely can. I would swap out Knowledge of the Enemy for Active Attrition in that case, but that's pretty much all I have to say in this one. Hey guys, first regards from here, I'll be talking about a Power Axe Assault build for patch 11.0 of Space Marine 2 to max out our damage with Overcharge. Now, Overcharge finally got fixed this patch, and now says the damage from held and charged melee attacks increases by 25%. In patch 10.0, this perk was only working on the Thunderhammer for Assault. That is no longer the case, and now works for Power Wave and Whirlwind Slash on the Power Axe, including other things like the Chainsword for Stomp and stuff like that. I know that in a previous video, I did say this perk was broken for Assault. That's not actually the case. The testing arena was just not showing the proper numbers there for a little bit, but now it is. So sorry about that, like a little bit of a misconception there, but Overcharge is working for the Power Axe. It is a very strong attack. Power Wave really benefits from Overcharge in this game, and the Block Power Axe in general got a buff this patch because it now has access to Power Stance, and they also made it so the perk tree got moved around a bit. So now you can take Tactical Retreat for 25% more damage on your Power Backstep on top of the perk Power Wave. Power Backstep wave damages more enemies. This basically ups the angle of your Power Wave. Really useful. It kind of like does the same thing a Xenophase Blade does for Ancient Technology on your Power Rake, where you'll have a better angle on your overall Power Rakes to hit enemies or in the sky and stuff like that. So the Power Axe is really benefiting from this new perk combo you have here. And on top of that, they made the perk down here riposte a little bit different. It now says overhead strike damage after performing a Power Backstep is doubled. This is a pretty good perk. The previous effect here, so you could do an overhead strike after a Power Stance attack, that is no longer the case. Power Wave will allow you to do an overhead strike as like a base moveset of the weapon now, so pretty good overall, and the double damage does help out quite a bit. Now, for the rest of the perk tree here, I do take Perpetual Strength first, moving here into the perk Coup de Grace. The last strike of a light combo deals 25% more damage, moving here into the perk Perpetual Strength, and moving up into the perk Perpetual Strength once again to max out our melee damage. Now, alternatively, you could skip over this perk Amber Post here and just pick up the perk here Rebound for 100% more CHP recovery on light attacks, and the far more important perk Discharge, which is overhead strike. It deals additional area damage around the target. Cooldown is 15 seconds. This perk is pretty nice for like an AoE stagger, especially versus Minoris and stuff like that. If you're fighting Chaos and need to like stagger, let's say, you know, multiple Terminators at once for whatever reason, this is pretty good. But like we're going for maximum melee damage today, so we're taking Riposte and Perpetual Strength. Now, the perk here, Counterattack, the first light attack within 5 seconds after a perfect parry or perfect block deals 25% more damage. This will affect your ground pound because for whatever reason in Space Marine 2, the ground pound is considered a light attack, so just keep that in mind. Pretty damn good for like a 25% damage bonus here, and Counterattack is like one of the reasons the Block Axe has the best scaling with ground pound of any weapon in the game for Assault. Next perk here is Hard Target. Then we move here into the perk Tactical Retreat for that 25% bonus damage on our Power Backstep, and then up here into the perk Power Wave for even more wave damage on multiple enemies. And the final perk we grab is Cleaver. Damage increases by 10% against Majora's level and higher enemies. This perk is just one of the best damage perks in the whole game. It's pretty much a catch-all for every type of enemy you'd actually want to hit and like up your damage on. Majoris, Extremis, Terminus, all of that. That's usually what you want to ground pound regardless. So this, on top of things like Counterattack, really helps out your ground pound quite a bit. Now, for the secondary here, you have a ton of options. In the gameplay I'll show, I did take the Inferno Pistol because Inferno Pistol is actually pretty damn decent versus Chaos. If you take this weapon and take the perk here, Defense Mechanism for contested health fading 50% more slowly, you actually have a pretty easy time getting your CHP back on top of having a fat amount of ammunition left. And for the perk tree, I would set up this way because going all the way down the bottom tree for things like Trick Shot and more ammunition is just the way to go in my opinion. And the perk up here, Motivated melee. Melee damage increases by 20%. This weapon has no ammo in its magazine. This perk is trash. A lot of people think it's like a super powerful perk. This is like an additive bonus, and it's actually worse than it might sound. I have like a whole video on this, but just don't use this perk. It's just not very good, and definitely go down the bottom row because range is way more important. Now, the best secondary weapon, I should say, for this build would be the Rate of Fire Plasma Pistol. This weapon is still top tier in this patch. The CHP recovery, the stagger, the damage, they are all incredible, and the only problem with this gun is that you can't shoot it as much because it runs out of ammo pretty quickly, which is why we take all the ammo perks and also build into things like Divine Might. Now, when the only problem with your gun is that you want to shoot it more, I mean, a gun's in a pretty good spot. Now, alternatively, you could take the new Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol, Retribution's Bequest, or really any heavy bolt pistol you want. This weapon is quite good. A lot of people think this thing sucks because it has low ammo reserves and a low magazine capacity, but to be honest, the perk effect here, No Help is Coming, shooting enemy with the Elite Scream status effect stops it from calling for reinforcements, headshot kill in one shot. This saves you a ton of ammunition on this weapon. It is actually deceptively good at times, and honestly, I prefer this thing quite a bit. It also has the highest gunstrike damage in the entire game currently. It's not like super substantial, it's like a 6% buff over the other firepower option here, but that's still pretty good, especially when you compare it to like the global scale of gun strikes in the game. And Retribution's Bequest, I think this weapon is severely underrated right now, and the way I'd set the perk trees, go down the bottom row and pick tactical, whichever secondary you want to take, that is up to you. Now, for the perk tree here, I do take the perk Overcharge first because, duh, we're going for a maximum damage here. This perk will buff up your damage quite a bit on the power wave. It takes it from like 143 damage to 183, and to put that in perspective, a Tyranid Warrior in this game has 308 HP, so pretty substantial increase there. Now, obviously, the perk down here, Armor Reinforcement, non-finisher gun strikes restore one armor segment. This is way safer to use for like 99% of people. This will save your life. Having armor back on gun strikes is incredible in this game, but Overcharge just does way more damage. Next perk here is Defense Mechanism. Contested health fades 50% more slowly. This just helps you get back your CHP. Pretty self-explanatory on this one, but like whether or not you want to take this, Auxiliary Arsenal, or the perk down here, Consecutive Execution, that is up to you because they are all very strong in this column. And the next perk I take regardless is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris or Extremis level enemies. This one is pretty nice because you don't have to do anything to trigger this. You'll just get like this free melee damage bonus on your ground pound 24/7, so pretty good for that. And the perk down here, Active Attrition, it did get changed this patch. It now says enemies hit by damage from melee attacks executed while sprinting or dashing take 25% more damage for 5 seconds. So you can trigger this off of any overhead in the game, including the one from Riposte. So a pretty good synergy there, but like, to be honest, I just think Knowledge of the Enemy is a bit better for this build. Next perk here, Strategic Strikes. All of your squadrons deal 20% more melee damage against Extremis and Terminus level enemies. This perk just ups your melee damage that much more, and Strategic Strikes has been a pretty fan favorite perk in this game for a while now because upping melee damage feels pretty damn good, and this one definitely helps out a lot versus like those harder enemies. Next perk here is Smiting Angel. Ground pounds damage increases by 25%. This is a really nice perk to like get a bit of a damage increase without lowering the radius of your overall ground pound. The perk down here, Precision Strike, ground pound deals 100% more damage, but its radius is reduced by 50%. This is a very good perk, especially now in patch 11.0, where they basically made it so the overall damage cap of the game has been changed, so you can actually get some pretty insane ground pound numbers off of this thing. But the reason we take the perk Smiting Angel instead is so we can trigger Zealous Blow, because Zealous Blow gives you 10% of your CDR back for every single ground pound kill you get, which is very fucking useful in this game. Like, this perk is so damn powerful. Being able to jump back over and over into a Hormagon swarm, a Tyranid swarm of any kind really, even the Cultist swarms or Zangors and stuff like that, you will deal so much free damage because of this perk, because your ground pounds effectively become free half the time, and that will also be doing damage to Majoris around those Minoras, so a really god tier perk, definitely the best in this column in my opinion, and Smiting Angel just enables this. Next perk here is Pride and Duty. After a finisher ground pound, it deals 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This one will trigger off of any finisher in the game, including Minoras, so a really good option here. 10 seconds is a very long uptime, and a 25% buff here is just really nice to have. Final perk here is Ample Ammunition. Any use of Jump Pack reloads the equipped ranged weapon and increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. This perk is just a really nice little range damage increase, on top of the fact that if you're taking the Inferno pistol like I did, This thing has like a 15 business day reload speed, so being able to just instantaneously reload this weapon with amp ammunition, that is very useful and super underrated. And that's pretty much all there is for the main perk tree here. Now, for the prestige perks, I do take Unyielding Oath first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable to damage for 3 seconds. This perk is godly. Being able to just survive a Terminator missile shooting at your face in the air, a Neurothrope beam, Neurothrope wave, Zoanthrope beam, you name it, this thing will cover your ass pretty much. And also, I do want to mention that you only have to hold your ground pound for like a split second to actually trigger this perk, which means that the entire trajectory of your ground pound, if you do it properly, can have this invulnerability, which means if a sniper is like charging up a shot at you after you're in the air, you can just go like directly into it, tank the shot, and land on them, take like 0 damage. So really, really good option. Next perk here is Adrenaline Boost. After perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you don't lose control from heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This is just a no knockback perk in Space Marine 2, and no knockback perks in this game will also save your life. The way that no knockback in this game works is that any hit that would normally knock you over will be taken down a tier to like only stagger you, and any hit that would stagger you will be taken down to do nothing. So it just enables you to have more options, enables you It enables you to have more options, guys. That's the point. It keeps you from dying, and not dying from Stunlock and Space Marine 2, that's really fucking good, and that's why we take Adrenaline Boost pretty much all the time. Next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15%. I mean, this one's self-explanatory. HP increases in Space Marine 2 are amazing because the lower your HP gets in this game, the higher ramping damage reduction you get in like 4 increments, which is why having a higher base HP makes your effective HP at a low HP value much better. So definitely pick these up pretty much wherever you can find them. Final perk here is Practice Aim for a range damage increase of 15%, and that is pretty much all there is for this build. You know, the Power Axe is a top tier weapon in this game currently. The Block Power Fist is, in my opinion, still better, but like this one that still fucks shit up. It is kind of insane how good it is currently, and also on top of it fucking shit up, it is really damn fun to use, and definitely my preferred weapon. And hopefully this build guide helped you. And if you like, hey guys, first regardsman here, and so I'll be talking about a Thunderhammer Death Company build for patch 11.2 of Space Marine 2 on the Assault. Now, the Thunderhammer got a fat 50% AoE radius buff to the Aftershock in Ground Slam back in like patch 10. Really powerful option now, really good in Siege mode too, surprisingly. And overall, the Block Thunderhammer is the best option because damage is king for this weapon, and Adrenaline Surge charges just hit like a truck on this option. Now, for the perk tree, I start off here, Perpetual Strength first, melee damage increases by 5%. Moving here into the perk, Fast Preparation. Aftershock preparation time is reduced by 30%. Aftershock is the most damaging attack on the Thunderhammer to begin with, so pretty much always pick this up. Having a longer Aftershock prep simply sucks ass, so a really good option. The next 2 perks here are Perpetual Strength and Perpetual Strength for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I pick up the perk here, Shattering Impact, for a 50% extra AoE on the Ground Slam, on top of the perk here, Seismic Chain. After performing a Ground Slam, hold the attack button to perform an additional Ground Slam. Now, Seismic Chain and Shattering Impact are an amazing combo, even with 3 speed. You will pick up a lot of extra executes off of this extra AoE, on top of the fact that double Ground Slams are really good for catching out enemies. Now, Extremis Slayer up here and the perk Reclamation are pretty nice too, but the perk you have to move into with Offense Initiated I just think is overall worse than the perk down here after Aftershock. Now, the perk I take after this combo here is, of course, Perpetual Strength again for another 5% melee damage increase, and then we grab the perk after Aftershock. After hitting enemy with Aftershock, you deal 10% more melee damage for 10 seconds. Now, Aftershock is the charge attack of this weapon that we mentioned earlier, and really all you have to do to trigger this is hit them with any portion of the Aftershock attack, including the initial pulse slam, because the way Aftershock works is that initially you'll charge it up, you will do a pulse slam up that like pulls your weapon over your head to do the double ground slam with the Aftershock improved, and this one is just a really strong option with that, because all you have to do is hit them with that pulse slam the very first hit or any hit after to trigger this. So 10% damage buff, really easy to pull off, and 10 seconds is a pretty damn long uptime. Next perk here is Kill Streak, which is pretty redundant because no knockback is already here in our prestige perk tree on the actual perk tree list, and the next perk here instead is Aftershock Improved. Aftershock gains additional smash. This perk is incredible, by far the best option in my opinion. Having double ground slams, or excuse me, double aftershocks is incredibly potent in Space Marine 2 with double adrenaline surge charges for the knockback and AoE damage. Really great perk. Pretty much just always pick this up. Next perk here is Minoru Slayer. Moving up here to the perk Majora Slayer for another further 10% damage buff versus Majora's enemies. That's pretty much all there is for the Thunder Hammer. Now, if you want to have like an alternative build for this, I would say the best option besides this one would just be going this way, where you go up here, pick up all of these perks. You can even skip over Majora Slayer for Aftershock if you wanted to, and build it this way. And if you want to swap out this perk, you could pick up Majora Slayer once again. That is up to you. That's pretty much all there is for this weapon. Now, for the secondary option, you do have a few choices here. You could pick up the Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol like I did. This is the highest overall gunstrike damage in the entire game, and the heroic perk effect is called No Help is Coming. Shooting enemy through these stats effect stops them from calling for reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. Now, in 11.2 of Space Marine 2, this perk is bugged. Body shots will do nothing to stop reinforcement calls. They probably won't fix that until like patch 12 with Tech Marine, but unfortunately that's the way it is. But headshots will still be able to kill one shot, so still a really good perk effect. Just keep that in mind. Now, for the perk tree on this, I go all the way down the bottom row to pick up things like Death Strike. After killing a Majora's level or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk will also trigger off a finisher, not just a melee kill, so even better than it sounds initially, and a 25% damage buff for 10 seconds. It's just a pretty substantial damage increase for a pretty long uptime. Now, the next perk here, Able Damage, after using a class ability, damage increases by 20% for 10 seconds. This perk is really good on Assault because Assault uses Jump Pack all the time, regardless of like a Wings of Flame build or a Zealous Blow build. You will cycle ground pounds over and over, so getting that 20% damage increase is pretty nice. Final perks I grab are Home Precision, Gunstrike Reload, and Tactical Precision, because Tactical Precision gives you a 20% headshot damage increase, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. Now, headshots are pretty much all that matter for bolt weapons in this game anyways, and this damage increase is quite substantial. So definitely pick this up on pretty much every single bolt weapon ever. Now, for the other options you can have, I would take the Plasma Pistol Rate of Fire option versus Chaos. This weapon is incredible. The Rate of Fire stat does increase the charge rate of your weapon, so really good for pulling off that stagger. The main issue you'll run into versus Chaos is that if you don't have any type of staggering weapon, you'll just get nuked by miniguns and stuff like that occasionally, so stagger is really useful versus them and even the Chaos spawn. So great option. I would build it this way for ammo economy, and always pick up this perk for faster charge rate. Now, alternative option to this is of course the Inferno Pistol. I would probably take the ammo variant and go down the bottom row, because the perk up here, Motivated Melee, this damage increase is really not as good as it sounds at all. The way it's calculated in the game is just garbage. It barely gives you any damage increase, and having extra range is just way better in my opinion. And overall, this weapon is great for stagger for the same reasons the Plasma Pistol is, but this one actually has way more ammunition, and on top of that, it has an ammunition reload perk with Adamant Restoration, which is like the only secondary in the entire game that gives you any type of ammo restore outside of like a perk in the actual perk tree. So now for the perk tree, first perk we take here is Overcharge. Damage from held and charged melee attacks increases by 25%. This perk will function for both your Ground Slam and Aftershock, so really a catch-all for the most damaging abilities the Thunderhammer has. Now, I will say the perk down here, Armor Reinforcement, non-finisher gunstrikes restore one armor segment. This perk is definitely the safer option for like any Thunderhammer build, but this one's the most damaging, so we're taking it here today. Next perk here is Consecutive Execution, killing 7 enemies in a rapid session, which was charged by 1. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, 90-second Melt-A-Bombs will save your life in this game, and to be honest, Shock Nades, Crack Grenades, and even Frags are still really good on the cooldown, but Melt-A-Bombs just overperform, and getting them on a 90-second cooldown, especially in Siege mode, will save your life and really up your clear rate. Next perk here is Knowledge of the Enemy. Melee damage increases by 15% against Majoris or Extremis level enemies. A 15% flat damage increase versus 2 of the most dangerous enemies in the game is really damn useful. And overall, this one helps out your ground pound the most in my opinion, though active attrition is still pretty decent. Next perk here is Strategic Strikes. All team members deal 20% more melee damage against Extremis and Terminus level enemies. We're just going for full damage here, so kind of no-brainer to pick this one up, but proven efficiency is still pretty strong, but for straight up Thunderhammer damage, I would pick this up instead. Next perk here is Smiting Angel. Ground pound damage increases by 25%. Moving down into the god tier perk, Zealous Blow. This perk generates so much damn value, it is kind of insane. If you're able to kill enough Minoris enemies, you will get multiple charges of your jump pack back at once, and you will generate so much free damage on Majoris, Extremis, and even bosses if you keep landing to Minoris hordes around them. Really good option, by far the best in this column in my opinion. Wings of Flame is definitely more situational, and maneuverability is not like the worst thing ever, but this is just way more CDR. Next perk here is Pride and Duty. After a finisher, ground pound deals 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk will trigger off of any finisher in the game, including my Norse Executes of the Gunstrike, so keep that in mind. And having both of these perks here for like a 50% ground pound damage increase, like a little bit of a limitation, is really good to trigger that Zealous Blow perk and get you those ground pounds back, which is really all you need on this build. Next perk here is Amp Ammunition. Any use of the jump pack reloads the equipped ranged weapon, increases damage by 50% for 10 seconds. Now, a 50% damage buff for 10 seconds when you are jump pack cycling all the time is really nice to have, especially like things like the heroic heavy bolt pistol here that does so much damn damage, like a base firepower of 12, which is higher than like all the other options on the heavy bolt pistol anyways besides the firepower variant. That is a really good thing to have and helps out a ton on picking up some Majora's kills. So I do like this perk a lot, though I will say the perk down here, Commitment, after a perfect time dodge using a jump pack dash restores jump pack's ability charge. This perk will just enable your jump pack dash to actually be worth using. So you want to pick this up and like you feel more comfortable with this, you definitely could. But Amp Ammunition, I think it generates a ton of value, especially for the Inferno pistol, because Inferno pistol has like a 5 business day reload speed, and being able to instantaneously reload that on like a single jump pack is really nice to have on top of the other 50% damage effects. So just keep that in mind. And Takeoff, yeah, this perk isn't like horrible, but the damage I don't think it's like super substantial. It's like 130 or something. And to keep that in mind, the base HP of a warrior is like 308. So it's not horrible, but is pretty, you know, underpowered compared to these, in my opinion. Now for the prestige perk list, we of course take Annealing O first. When charging a ground pound, you become invulnerable for 3 seconds. This perk gives you so much damn utility. You will phase through things like Zoanthrope beams and Neurothrope waves on top of stuff like Missile Terminator miniguns or their missile cannons on their backs. It is a really good option. If you actually charge up your ground pound for like a split second, you will get the full invulnerability from this and have an invulnerability the entirety of your jump pack trajectory, which is really damn useful and definitely one of the best perks in this entire tree. Next perk here is Adrenaline Boost. This one gives you no knockback on a perfect parry, block, or dodge for 10 seconds. Really good for keeping you alive, and no knockback, especially on a Thunder Hammer, is super damn useful. Next perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15%. Moving here to the perk Practice Aim. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. The Thunder Hammer's in a pretty good spot right now. The damage is tremendous. It may have a bit of a learning curve, but definitely worth picking up. And Death Company, of course, are one of my favorite chapters or chapter aspects in Space Marine 2 and 40k in general, because Blood Angels are my favorite and Sanguinius is my favorite Primarch. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Here's some gameplay. Take it easy. Bye.
To deliver the Emperor's violent retribution.
Ooh, Carnifex. Like that.
Take heed.
Where is the Carnifex? Oh, hello. Ask and you shall receive.
Avenging angel disposal. Wrath shall reign.
That's all, guys.
Refuel. This Ravener has despoiled its last swamp of land.
Combat Squad Heriton reporting in. The bridge is lost, as are my squad brothers. I am cut off from our planned route to the Ordnance Depot. Calculating a new route based on your report, Teraton. Standing by. Be advised, the cruiser's crew managed to execute security protocols before they were overrun by the Xenos brood.
I'm airborne ready. That pitiful Xenos was but no horrible blood.
There we go.
Jump pack refuel. We have cleansed the Xenos.
And to be robbed of that HP right at the end. How nice.
Commencing reload. The Xenos infestation is stemmed.
We'll love it. Love to see it.
Avenging Angel.
Ace just hit wave 48 and siege mode. Is that a record? I think it is. I'm pretty sure the Chinese only got to 47. Pretty fucking base. I know Tygronics told me they got to the, they were using the one thingy. The Fire Blaster and Hammer. It just scales higher. Fire Blaster makes sense.
But the Imperium is indomitable.
I'm trying to get my dailies done, but I can't stop watching FTG's gameplay. Thank you, Diesel. Do the block charges activate off a ground pound? Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Brothers, together we go.
Is that the heroic hammer? Not a heroic hammer. Just a thunder hammer. Block hammer. Heroic hammer is not very good compared to the block hammer.
To bypass the security protocols.
Take control of the console unit. Then we may exact revenge upon the repugnant Xenos. The world this Xenos sought to consume now consumes its lives. Rat shall prey. I am airborne ready.
We got the matching symbols one. This one's not too bad. Oh, we got like the EAX.
I am the righteous storm. Avenging angel at your disposal. Purge the soul throat in a hail of bombs. My reports for every nothing. Blast. Finishing firepower. Reinforcements will not provide the relief. That pitiful Xenos was but no horror. Its Xenos brain is not granted the wisdom to flee. Jump pack refuel. The Xenos infestation is stemmed. The Imperium's hammer rises to strike. Your reign of terror has ended.
Alright, there's one of them.
Does not have one of these symbols.
I thought you said you were done for the day.
I am
Yeah, for this
airborne
one.
ready. Excellent work, brother.
Let's see this.
Take flight and let terror. Avenging angel at your disposal. The enemy summons. Death to
Just stopped. Interesting. Are all the symbols over there? Wonderful.
Another alien falls to the Imperium's keen blade.
It must be back here or something.
Commencing reload.
I took the normal heavy bolt pistol this time so we get through the next portion more easily.
Spirit.
Because that part does suck.
I am airborne ready. Rat downgrade. Jump factory fuel.
Wolfman Lord effectively with 100 bits. The only time she is done is when he finishes on your mama's ass. Skivity burn.
The Imperium's hammer rises to strike.
I wouldn't say that, but not exactly the bits. That's not exactly the bits thing I expected, to be honest. But what you gotta do? Bonk.
Xenos fire. Accurate symbol. Fire. I am airborne ready. Confirm the correct markings on the main console.
Alright, if it stops giving me endless waves here, we'll be good.
Take flight. Let terror.
Thank you. All the way up there, huh?
Avenging angel, your disposal.
Are you solo all the time? Not all the time, just for this match right now.
And the machines drum.
Played a lot of people today.
Engineering networks coming back to functionality.
Machines ready. We must proceed towards the plasma reactors at once.
The lift platform is in transit. Arrival pending.
We descend to bring light to the darkness. Factory fuel. Reloading.
Right, there we go. Thought I was playing Siege? This is not Siege.
Attention boarding
Double block charge with the ground pound max damage roll with double block charges goes insanely hard. It definitely does. You do a stupid amount of damage on your ground pound with it.
combat squads.
Stupid amount.
Combat squad Heraton here. Redirecting along newly advised path. Combat squad Octavio reporting in. Cyclonic armament secure.
Is there another hard Siege push on the horizon? Maybe.
Asa,
Hard Siege takes forever though. It's like a 3-hour game.
report on its condition when you arrive. All squads, we have updated our battle stratagems. Heraton,
Could do that though. I'll probably do that in tech when it comes out.
protect the cyclonic armaments. Talassa, your new
What would you say is the best melee weapon to max out first to love the vids?
and the Tyranid merely
Best melee weapon to max out first would probably be
time to prime the armaments.
Chainsword. I think it's on the most classes.
So, disable the emergency blast shields.
I think Chainsword is on the is available on the most. Or Combat Knife. Yeah, Combat Knife's probably the best option. Depends on what you want to play.
Emergency blast shields retracting. Warning. Coolant rods exposed. Talassa, I need you to disable the entire cooling array. Concentrate fire on the exposed cooling rods.
Target the vulnerable cooling rods.
Elements of the cooling rod array are clogged.
Vile filth.
How was the Inferno Pistol? Inferno Pistol is pretty good.
The Xenos infestation.
Inferno Pistol is pretty good. Mainly for Chaos, though, in my opinion. I don't think it's very good versus Tyranids. But against Chaos, it works really well.
I am the righteous Lord.
Alright, Alright, 2 Raveners right there, huh? Okay.
Ravenous lurk below. Our bones were swollen. Stop! I'm airborne ready. Hold those lines. Order returns to the very soul. We as an angel. Jump pack refuel. Reloading magazine. One step closer to the reactor overheating.
Registering extreme temperature fluctuation.
Hey, first regards, man. I watch YouTube videos, sending appreciation from Canada. You ever play viewers? Yeah, I play viewers all the time. I think I've played more viewers today than anything else, to be honest. FTG, after your short with the Carney kill with the Gladius, I've just become obsessed with doing one-shot boss runs with it. It was kind of burnt out for Space for 2, but that build made the game fun again. Power Gladius is one of the most entertaining builds in the game currently. It's just fun to try to set up the one-shot. One-shotting stuff in games is just fun in general, but...
Another alien falls to these dearly. I am the righteous storm. Jump pack refuel. We are the exterminators become
What about the Volkite? Volkite doesn't have great contested health recovery. It's a big problem with it. It's still good. It just doesn't have, like, ridiculous health recovery. These are the 100 bits. What is your duty to serve the Emperor's will? That's certainly my duty. Well, actually, my duty right now is to... Apparently, the Emperor's will is destroying these generators.
I am airborne ready.
Get the fuck out of my way.
Avenging angel. Reloading magazine. Rat downgrade.
Wolf Mandalore FG said duty. Haha. Thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you for the 100 bits, Mr. Mandalore of God. What's your favorite melee weapon on Vanguard? Probably Power Gladius. I mean, it's not like the options are very large. You think it's a chain sword or a combat knife. Oh, power. Actually, no, it's probably Power Axe. I forgot he has a Power Axe for some reason. I forgot he has a Power Axe now.
Reloading. Avenging angel will dispose. Reports remain active.
Temperatures at critical level. Plasma reactor shutting down to prevent catastrophic detonation.
All right, get me the fuck out of here.
Do not let reactors cool down.
I guess we'll do this first.
Performance final task. Proceed to the decks below and force the plasma reactors to overheat.
Let us descend to the reactor chamber. I am airborne ready.
I want the ammo before I leave here. So no Starry Showcase are gonna be later. Hypex, I already did it.
Victor Hunter, veiled by gaming.
That was earlier. Did you miss it, Hypex?
The survivor calls for every doctrine.
It's tragic. Can I just get back to the ammo?
No alien.
Without having like an armada here? I'll be making a video on it as well. For some of the cosmetic stuff. I feel like that's 99% of what people like from that, I swear.
Avenging angel will dispose.
Yeah, you missed it. It's rough. For now, there will be a video on it. All I really talked about is the customization, though, because that's the main part of it I like. But it was really, really cool they added in. Now you can play as all the Chaos guys. Old Man Lord with 100 bits. Okay, serious question. I've been thinking about jumping into the RTS Warhammer content. Any recommendations so far? I've seen Battle Sector and Mechanicus. I mean, there's Battle Sector. The RTS will be Dawn of War. Like, Dawn of War 4 is going to be huge. It will be huge. I'll just probably finish the stuff you asked for in like an hour if everything goes well with testing it. Thanks a ton, Hypex. Actually, I appreciate it a ton, to be honest. Especially on such a short notice.
But we have heard nothing from our brother.
FTG, you see the new Dawn of War trailer with the orcs? The cinematic one with the orcs they put out today? Well, they put out yesterday, I think, but yeah. Pretty damn cool. I'm gassed for that.
This is ill-advised, Talassa. If you do not rig the reactor to detonate, the cyclonic warheads will be wasted.
Favorite weapon setup you always find yourself returning to for Assault? I remember you mentioning it's one of your favorite classes. I mean, Hammer. Hammer's pretty damn fun right now. I got a game. Ow. Maybe not in this one area where you can't actually do it, but... Or it's too tight. Right. There we go. That's annoying.
The Xenos infestation is stemmed.
Hit that damage reduction when they get there. Favorite weapon setup that you always find yourself returning to for Assault? I recommend... Blah, blah, blah. I remember you... Hold on, I should probably pay attention or I'm gonna die. I'm trying to read this. For your returning for your Assault, I remember you mentioning it's one of your favorite classes. I mean, just Power Axe. The Power Axe is very good in this game. Or Power Fist. But my favorite would be Power Axe. I think Power Axe is way more entertaining to use. Power Fist is a very boring weapon. Oh, hello, how goes the Purge? We are just wrapping up a Reclamation game. That's what we were doing.
You must destabilize the plasma reactor. Our brothers from Phaedrus and Heraton shall not have died in vain.
We have reached the plasma reactor units.
I thought the Great Sword was your favorite? Ha ha ha. You know as well as I do, brother, there's no Great Sword in Boxing Say. This is an annoying spot for these guys. Oh, actually, maybe it's a little more convenient than I thought it would be. Oh my god. That sucks. That just a fuck up.
Jump pack refuel. The Zoanthropus form. Trample.
Have you made or do you plan on making a guide on how to deal with all enemy types? There will be a lot more guides in the next month. I might not be streaming for a bit, but we'll see. I have a lot of stuff that's all recorded and partially edited. I just have to finish up. God, look at all this fucking bramble. I can change spawn amounts to be like 3 players if you want. Oh yeah, do that too. That'd be good. Thank you, Hypex. That'd be much appreciated. Got some crazy shit going on in the game.
These servitors performed their program's duties until they were cut down.
Access granted.
Another horde. Do you guys think that Space Marine 2 needs another difficulty? I'm gonna get the honest questions here. You guys think this game could use... I don't think it'd be that out of pocket, to be honest.
That pitiful Xenos was but no horror god. The Xenos are but an insolent fire. Jump pack refueled.
Salt is goated. Anybody that says this class is bad is on crack. At this point, I'm interested in how they're going to name it, because we already have Absolute. I don't know if they'll give it a new... Like, I don't even know if they'll actually add a new mode. I hope they do. See if we survive this, because Overcharge is a little rough on this boss fight sometimes.
Into the breach once more.
We'll try. You're a pretty good horde clear, though, so... Can't be too bad.
That reactor must be destroyed. Honor our place. Honor our chapter. Here it comes, brothers.
Alright, we're pretty good for this. I want a double slam. I want it bad. It's not really worth it, but I want it. Alright. Well, whatever. You can land it on. That's your chosen death. Okay, you know what? It's really not. That was almost bad at the end. The propaganda is undeniable these days. That's true. My favorite FTG quote so far. A little sus, a little sus. It was when they dodged my second slam there, that one part. That did suck. Up until then it was fine. But we're okay. It's all over.
We're tracking your signatures. Octavio and Heraton leader already on board. Our brothers prevailed. Core detonation is now a mathematical certainty.
Do you not parry that double swipe? They swing double swipe and you always dodge it? Well, why would I parry it if I have 2 block charges? I don't get any benefit. I get a Gunstrike off it if I perfect dodge instead. You also interrupt their... Gunstrike can also interrupt their final hit. Go. Bonk.
Make haste, pilot.
Race for turbulence. If not for your valor, Talata, this
There we go. Thunderhammer Overcharge. As fun as ever. Still peak fun. Okay. The last thing those pipsqueaks Tyrion saw was a flying hammer. True. Well, one of them saw me grab his foot and rip him to the ground and rip off his wings, but you know. Who's counting? Oh, 70,000 damage. That's fun.